Hi, I'm Governor Kristi Noem, and I am honored to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the South Dakota Retirement System with all of you. The South Dakota Retirement System ensures that all of our dedicated public servants are able to enjoy the fruits of their labor when the time comes for them to retire. The South Dakota Retirement System is here to help state employees who take care of citizens across our great state. Teachers and other public school employees who give our kids an environment to learn and to grow. The Board of Regents employees who help students achieve a higher education that will set them up for a successful career. And city and county government employees who keep our communities strong and thriving, and even more. So each of these groups can focus on their work and be confident in the fact that their retirement is in good hands. Now, South Dakota has one of the only fully funded pension systems in America. We're proud of this fact. And maintaining our fully funded pension is a top priority for me and for my administration. I've told folks across the country that our pension is fully funded, and their jaws drop. They can't believe it. That just isn't the story in other states, but it's how we do business here in South Dakota. So thank you to the South Dakota Retirement System for making that possible. In the last 50 years, you have set up a retirement system to be proud of. In the next 50, you will continue taking care of South Dakotans and prioritizing sound financial management. So keep it up. And again, thank you. May God bless you.
I'm Homer Harding. Back in, seems like over 50 years ago, but it was actually in 1973 when I first got the idea to start a retirement system, consolidate all the systems. So my idea was that there were 7 systems, and I thought that was very inefficient. So if we combine those 7 systems into one system, how much money it would take, and all of these systems did not cover anything very much, and they were all underfunded. So I went to West Cheddar, who was the LRC board at that time, and he suggested we get Paul Schrader, who was I think out of Denver at the time, but he was the advisor on getting the system started and how much money we would need. So he came up with a plan that it would take $10 million to fund all 7 systems, get them all current, taking care of the old employees who had retired, get the whole system going, and then a 5% contribution by each of the governments and individuals. So we approved of that, and I knew I was a minority leader, and the only way we could accomplish this was to get the Democrats to go along with it too. So I contacted Mike O'Connor of Sioux Falls, who was the Senate leader at that time, a very good spokesman. And he bought into the plan very much so. And so we got a hold of Schrader, and he came up with the idea that it'd take $10 million and 5% contribution by the government and 5% by the individual, and then invest the money, and hopefully the return would be self-funding. So the entire system was put on the Senate floor, and this was in 1974, and it was Senate Bill 93, I believe, and accomplished all of these things. I knew I would need support from everybody to get that passed, and so we got teachers were very much opposed to it because they'd started a little plan, had little money in it, and so Jim Hansen, who was Secretary of Education at the time, he helped me get the teachers on board who were very much opposed to it, and the other systems came on board. Bill Saar got the judges and the Class B employees to come along, and with a whole lot of support from everyone, we finally got it passed. And $10 million at that time was a substantial amount of money Today, with the trillions they talk about, we still managed to get it done. And today, with proper investment by Steve Myers, and now I believe it's Matt Clark that does it now, but they were very, very successful in investing in the retirement system. And so it's worked out very well. Many of the employees are getting more than they were when they retired. So I'm very happy with it, and as long as we can stay away from venture capital and social investing, I think we'll have a successful system.
My name is Paul Schrader, and I'd like to add my congratulations to SDRS for a very successful 50 years. I've had the good fortune to work with SDRS for the entire 50-year period. In fact, I first came to South Dakota in 1973 to meet with the Consolidation Committee and was there for the 1974 legislative session in which SDRS was adopted. Others that go back to that same time period and have played a major role in the success of SDRS include Al Asher, who was the initial executive director of SDRS, Wes Cheddar, Homer Harding, and Steve Myers. They will each share their views of SDRS with you in this video. SDRS is a great story. Someone should write a book about it. In fact, my friend Steve Myers said he would, but then he moved to Florida and decided playing golf was a lot more fun. By any measure, SDRS is viewed nationally as a success and a model system. How did that happen? Well, here are some reasons. It started with a sound structure established by the Consolidation Committee. A dedicated board and staff have taken responsibility for and ownership of and pride in the success of SDRS. There's been a constant quest for improvements and adoption of best practices, and the board has established objectives for benefits, funding, and governance that have led SDRS down a road to success. What does success look like? Well, here's a good example. SDRS is fully funded with no pension debt, while for the 6 states that are contiguous to South Dakota, the average unfunded liability for public employee pension systems is $4 billion. Like you, I take great pride in SDRS. I've had the opportunity to work with extremely dedicated people, and it has been a rewarding experience for me both professionally and personally. Congratulations to all of you that have contributed to the success of SDRS. I believe the next 50 years will be even more successful. SDRS is in very good hands for the future.
Hi, my name is Al Asher. I spent 33 years involved with public employee benefits in South Dakota. I want to take this time to acknowledge some of those who, in my opinion, made the SDRS possible. First of all is the legislature and the other interested parties who made up the 1973 Select Committee and who worked through the summer and fall of 1973 to consolidate the 6 or 7 existing retirement plans into what became known as the South Dakota Retirement System with the passage of Senate Bill 79 in 1974. And then there's Dick Knipe and Harvey Woolman administration, who during their time in office, the Investment Council was created in 1971, SDRS in 1974, and the Public Employees Insurance System. And then there's Bill Janklow, who became governor in 1979 and was a big supporter of SDRS during all his time in office. Dave Volk, who was the state treasurer during those years and who had my back when I got in trouble with Bill Janklow. The members of the legislature who served on the Retirement Laws Committee, the elected and appointed members who served on the SDRS Board of Trustees, and all the members who've served on the Investment Council. And there are 2 individuals whose contributions have played a major role in the success of SDRS. First is Steve Myers, who was hired in 1972 as the first chief investment officer and who's responsible for the early financial success of SDRS. Also important, he created an environment for the investment council to hire and retain the investment staff, the outstanding investment staff that exists today. And then there's Paul Schrader, who for 50 years has been the consulting actuary for SDRS. He has provided advice and counsel to the Board of Trustees, the legislature, governors, the investment council, and the SDRS staff. His input has been critical to the success of SDRS. And last but not least are the past and present staff members of SDRS. They attempted to make me look good during my time and have continued to do an outstanding job making SDRS the best public pension plan in the nation. So happy 50th SDRS, and may you continue for another 50 years.
Hi, I'm Steve Myers, and I don't know how many of you believe in miracles, but in looking back on the South Dakota retirement system's accomplishments, its founding 50 years ago was no small miracle. Bringing such diverse groups of people together, such as teachers and judges and municipal employees, the governor, legislators, highway workers, just to name a few, was a remarkable feat, and it was accomplished with goodwill and excellent teamwork. You can celebrate and be proud, but don't slow down. Keep it up. I believe that there are miracles from above, and then there are those events that are called miracles because of tons of hard work by many individuals and organizations. There is a fairly short list of individuals who had an enormous positive impact on the outstanding success of the South Dakota retirement system. I was fortunate to work with some of them, and I hope that they are recognized today during the presentations to come. They are the heroes in my book. An example was the talented and honest professional Al Asher. It's hard to be first, and Al did a top-notch job as the first leader of the South Dakota retirement system. And how does one measure the consistent, brilliant, common sense foresight of Paul Schrader, nationwide recognized as one of the country's leading consultants? The SDRS owes so much to these and other leaders you hold near and dear to you. And I am going to enjoy listening to their stories and contributions in the time that follows. Thank you for including me.
I'm Wesley Cheddar. In 1973, I was a Legislative Research Council employee serving as a fiscal analyst to the committee that established for studying the South Dakota retirement systems. There were 8 such systems at the time. The biggest task I had was to record the decisions of the committee and to eventually write the legislation that was passed by the 1974 legislature, Senate Bill 74. The 73 legislature created a special retirement interim committee funded by $25,000 of state appropriation to retain actuarial consultant services. The committee was chaired by Jim Rothstein of Mobridge, a respected former majority leader who had concerns about the existing system's leapfrogging benefits. If teachers had got an improvement in the system, the next year, the municipal system or other systems would come into play and ask for the same improvement. At the start of the 1973 interim work, Representative Rothstein made it known that he supported a major overhaul of the retirement system, even a consolidated system. The major obstacles of consolidation included large disparity in funding levels, with the teacher system being the best funded at about 80%. The municipal system had the best benefit structure. The law enforcement system had excellent retirement benefits, but poor financial structure. The interim committee consolidated was well received by the legislature and then Governor Richard Knipe, and of course employees. Governor Knipe included resources in his budget to implement the system. The most controversial part of the consolidation system ended up being the way the members of the Board of Trustees would be selected. Eventually, as proposed by the teachers, was to have a system that we still use, and that is an election for members from their respective constituency group. System features of importance will require all teachers to be members, an employee percentage of contributions to be equal, made on all compensation. The State Investment Council was created the previous year and already had success in investment state assets and was a great improvement and helped in the consolidation in having one investment fund. Recognizing the importance of legislative action and assure future legislative involvement, the legislature created an interim and standing committee of the Retirement Laws Committee, which still exists now 50 years later, and continues to assume a major role in retirement legislation. I served in the Board of Trustees for 11 years, from 1974 to 1985, and since then, 2 other terms. And of course, the biggest determination in the early years was how we were going to do disability benefits for our membership. That has since changed to become more of an administrative function rather than a Board of Trustees function.
Hi, my name is Bob Miller, and I have the honor of being here to wish a happy 50th anniversary to SDRS. For a little background, 23 years ago, I retired as Chief Justice, and so I'm benefiting from the wonderful work that all of the people at SDRS and the investment people do. Forgive me some if I stumble with names or I forget some important issues, but it's been 50 years and I'm about to turn 85, so I'm entitled to a little forgiveness for those kinds of things. I think it's important for me to know that I served for about 10 years on the first board of directors of SDRS, and I served some years as chair of the board. I'm not sure exactly how many, but I did serve some time. And I have watched in awe as this system has grown from its true infancy into probably the best retirement system in the country. And I'm proud to have played a small part in that growth. In the first years we were operating, we had to contend with a lot of interior concerns of former systems that had been incorporated and consolidated into SDRS. Some very happy about it and some not so happy. Groups that we dealt with were like the retired teachers, various law enforcement systems, some large municipal fire department systems, as well as various other pre-existing local government systems. And we also had to deal with some various public safety groups who wanted to become members of the Class B law enforcement category. Organizations or employees like prison guards, game wardens, probation and parole officers, and the like. So we had to deal with those issues and hopefully made the right decisions. An issue that really sticks out in my mind is one where we created a benefit package that allowed employees to create a survival benefit for their spouse in the event of a post-retirement death. It is a unique benefit that many other systems do not provide. I also remember a very difficult thing that we had to deal with that is not being dealt with today, and that is disability hearings. In those days, the board determined whether or not a person was entitled to a disability benefit. Today, that's done administratively. And as a board, we worked there very hard at it, and I think did a good job, but it was something that really, in truth, didn't belong in our category. the most important thing to me, as I look back on it and as I've watched it since, is the fact that everybody on the board, the staff, and the investment people are concerned about the financial soundness of the system. That's a paramount concern to everybody, and it really has worked for the benefit of employees, retirees, and the like, and for the state of South Dakota as a whole. I think it's important also to recognize and to identify some individual people who should get a lot of credit for what I've just said. People like Al Asher, who was the director for many years, did a special job, and he and his staff just have developed SDRS into a system that is really wonderful. Some other people that stand out in my mind are Paul Schrader, who was the actuary for so long, and he and his people then and now have done such a great job in guiding SDRS through the very complicated hurdles, and they've played an important role as a systems advisors. And how can we overlook Steve Myers, the investment officer? He, his staff, and his successors have done such a marvelous job of keeping SDRS going so well funded, and there's no debt that's at all. They just can be so proud of the financial soundness of the organization. And lastly, but not least certainly, would be Homer Harding, who happens to be a friend of mine, but also was a best friend of SDRS in the legislature. He was involved in the creation of the system, and he was always there to help us when key legislation needed to be addressed and to protect and maintain and improve the system. So Al, Paul, Steve, and Homer, special thanks from me, and I know from all of the former board members. In closing, let me say South Dakota can be very proud of the exceptional system that has provided such an excellent retirement system for its employees and for local government, and for one that's lasted for 50 years, and I'm sure for decades and decades to come. I want to thank SDRS for the opportunity for me to be here today to help celebrate this important occasion and to publicly congratulate and recognize some of the most important players in that category. Thank you and happy anniversary.
Hello, I'm Larry Tiedemann from Brookings, South Dakota. It is truly an honor to be part of the 50-year anniversary of the South Dakota retirement system. I have been a member of the retirement system for 50 years. I joined in 1974 when the South Dakota retirement systems merged. At that time, I was a fairly recent college graduate in my first job with SDSU, so I wasn't too excited to learn I would have 5% deducted from my paycheck for retirement. Retirement was not on my list of priorities at that time. I was more concerned about paying off student loans and buying other things with my paycheck. Little did I know or fully appreciate at the time how much that minimal contribution would grow and turn into a sustaining retirement income. After 30 plus years of employment, I retired in 2004 and now appreciated the wise decisions made by the Investment Council and the Retirement Board. After my retirement from SDSU, I ran for the state legislature and served on the Appropriations Committee and the State Retirement Laws Committee for many years. It was an honor to work closely with Rob Wiley and Jackie Storm and all the retirement staff. They made sure we were well prepared to present legislation on the floor of the House and the Senate. Their goal was to help preserve and ensure the retirement system was in good standing to serve the present and future retirees. As I interacted with legislators from other states at national meetings, it was reinforced
the strength of our South Dakota retirement system. While some states were at 17 or 40% fully funded, South Dakota was fully funded at 100%. We have the #1 retirement system in the United States. Thanks to all who made it possible, the staff, the retirement board, Matt Clark, and the investment council. Truly an A+ team.
Hi, I'm Senator Mike Rounds. Serving as governor, I witnessed firsthand the valuable role that the South Dakota retirement system plays in the lives of our public servants and their families. Since its inception in 1974, this system has been a cornerstone of financial security for thousands of public service employees at the state and local level. Its prudent management and forward-thinking strategies have made it one of the most respected retirement systems in the nation. I often tell my colleagues in Washington that the South Dakota retirement system is a great example of what Social Security could be if it had been administered as responsibly as the SDRS. Unlike Social Security, the SDRS actually puts its money where the larger returns will be long-term, instead of sitting in government bonds getting just pennies on the dollar. The federal government has a lot to learn from South Dakota. There are many factors that make this system successful, particularly the fact that leadership is made up of those who are active members in the system, both current employees and retired employees with professional advisors and management. Today, there are more than 100,000 members in this system, everyone from state employees to teachers to city and county employees, as well as retirees. Working as a state senator, I was proud to introduce a bill to change both the state's and the employees' contribution match rate from 5% to 6%. By increasing the match by just 1% each, we were able to make South Dakota retirement system more stable for years to come. Working as governor, I continued to closely monitor the SDRS and signed into law several bills that made the system even stronger. Like Social Security, the South Dakota retirement system was never intended to be someone's standalone retirement plan. However, offering a retirement plan to prospective employees is an extremely valuable tool in being able to attract some of the best and brightest people to work in our state's public institutions. It has worked, and a half a century later, the SDRS is still responsible, solvent, and going stronger than ever. Here's to many more years of stability, growth, and prosperity for all who rely on this vital institution. Congratulations, and thank you for your outstanding service.
Greetings to all friends, members, stakeholders of the South Dakota retirement system, and congratulations on 50 amazing years of operations on behalf of nearly 100,000 members of the plan. In many ways, every public employer and every citizen of the state has benefited from the success of SDRS and that of the South Dakota Investment Council. It has truly been my pleasure to be a member of the staff at SDRS from 1982 to 2020 and a member of the South Dakota Investment Council from 2003 to 2019. Over the years, SDRS has been incredibly agile in a very dynamic and sometimes political environment. Every issue has been handled skillfully and effectively, and in many situations, the perceived problems have been addressed in such a way that they improve the plan for all. SDRS's 50-year history has been complicated and involved many ups and downs. However, the real story is the commitment, cooperation, performance of all that are involved. Outstanding long-term investment returns, innovative, professional, and goal-based benefits administration and member services, along with ongoing support from the South Dakota
government, the executive, and the legislative branches have all combined to make SDRS a model public employee retirement system, and in many cases, the envy of other retirement systems. All of this has been implemented and accomplished to meet the mission of SDRS, to responsibly manage a financially sustainable system within fixed resources and prepare our membership for retirement. We all should be proud of what has been achieved while remembering that we are just stewards, caretakers on behalf of the plan and the members of the plan. It remains vital that the decisions today and in the future continue that trust. I know it will. Thank you to all of you for all you do. Here's to SDRS. By the way, retirement is not too bad.
I'm Louise Lobin. I served on the Retirement System Board of Trustees for 30 years, from 1990 to 2020. And there were a lot of changes that happened during that time. I recall disability hearings. I think of groups who wanted to break apart the consolidated system, and so we would no longer be consolidated. I remember in-depth discussions on the alternate A formula. I remember discussions on how to spend earnings, and I remember discussions on how to take back benefit improvements that had been made when we needed to. The system has been through a lot. We have made changes and tweaks throughout the years, adjusting to allow for subsidies that were being made that are no longer. We have changed the system from being the foundation plan to what we now call the generational plan. We have changed to accommodate a combined plan versus just a defined benefit plan. We also have some of those features of a defined contribution plan. We are unique in the state, not even just in the state, but in the nation. We are an example that people strive for. When we would go to different conferences and things, people would ask questions and try to learn what it is we did and how we could do that. The system is amazing. Every county in the state benefits from the system. There are recipients who live everywhere. That money then goes into their pockets and back into their neighbors through purchases and taxes and all of that. The system makes a huge impact back to the state, as well as assisting with the credit rating, as we are 100% funded. I enjoyed my time on the board immensely, and I have missed it since I've been off. Who knows, maybe I'll run again as a further retiree representative. You know what they say about a bad penny.
Hello, this is Speaker Hugh Bartles. I've been in the South Dakota legislature for 8 years, and I was on the South Dakota Investment Council for 5 years, so I've been a caretaker of the South Dakota retirement system for 13 years, and I do mean caretaker. The real work of the South Dakota retirement system is done by the staff of the retirement system and the staff of the Investment Council, and I've had a little bit to do with making that better, but not much. The real credit goes to these people and to the people who created this system 50 years ago. It's a wonderful system. It has a lot of checks and balances in it, and it has the goal of taking care of the retirees and making sure that it's an asset to the state of South Dakota and all the political subdivisions that participate in it. Thank you to everyone who's made this a wonderful system, especially those who created it in the past.
Elmer Brinkman here, served a little over 20 years on the board. I recall a big issue when a couple of insurance companies were trying to carve out the college professors so that they could have a defined contribution plan. And Fortunately, the legislature didn't buy that, and out of that, though, came the portable retirement option, and behind that, some work done by the staff to help members better appreciate the value they had in SDRS.
My name is Jim Bolin. I'm currently the chairman of the Senate Retirement Law Committee here in the great state of South Dakota. You know, South Dakota has one of the very best retirement systems in the country for public employees. One of the reasons for that is that we've had great mutual respect and cooperation between the legislative leadership of these committees and the professional staff that runs the South Dakota retirement system on a regular basis. During my time, I've had such an excellent relationship with both Mr. Wiley and now Mr. Allman, who currently is heading up the South Dakota retirement system. It's my hope and my prayer that good and excellent relationship can continue. It's one of the things that I'll always remember about my time and my association with the retirement system. Thank you very much.
Hello, and happy 50th to the South Dakota retirement system. My name is KJ Peterson, and I served as the county representative board member from 1997 to 2019 during my employment with Pennington County. The SDRS staff, the South Dakota Investment Council staff, the actuaries, the consultants, all worked along with the board to make South Dakota retirement system a premier retirement system. One of the biggest issues we tackled during my time on the board was retire, rehire. It was a controversial issue and initially just sounded wrong. But in a small state like South Dakota, we quickly learned it was important to the local governments and the state to have the ability to rehire those employees who were willing to come back, help their communities, and fill much needed positions, teachers, law enforcement, city and state government. So over several years, we solved the problem, addressed some time issues about being away from retirement, and implemented some reduced benefits during the time they were back working, and we solved this problem. There are several people I would like to especially thank from SDRS. Al Asher, Rob Wiley, and Travis Almond are three executive directors. Steve Myers and Matt Clark are two investment office administrators. Well, it's a testament to SDRS that during 50 years we had 3 executive directors and 2 investment officers. I would also like to say thank you to Paul Schrader. He is a leader in our group and a true honorary South Dakotan. And a special thanks to Dawn Smith. She was invaluable to us as board members and solved many a problem for us along the way. I wish I was there today to join you in raising a glass. So have one for me and enjoy. Bye for now.
Hi, Dennis Dugard here, congratulating the South Dakota retirement system on 50 years. What a great milestone and what a wonderful system we've had over 50 years. Congratulations to Rob Wiley and all the trustees and staff of the retirement system. Matt Michaels and I were so pleased and proud to be part of some of the changes that were made during the years we were in office. I was so grateful to the trustees when they took a great year of investment returns, thanks to Matt Clark and the South Dakota Investment Council, and applied them against the unfunded actuarial accrued liabilities that the plan had at the time. And then over the years, Matt and I were very pleased to support some of the changes that were made, the creation of the generational plan, when you change the plan to restrict the cost of living changes to what the plan could afford, always assuring that the plan would remain 100% funded. Again, thanks to Matt Clark and the South Dakota Investment Council for their great leadership in the investing. Again, Matt Michaels and I were grateful and proud to be part of the team that helped keep our plan among the best, if not the best, in the United States. So on this 50th anniversary of the South Dakota retirement system, congratulations, and let's go for 50 more.
Hi, this is Matt Michaels, and I've had the privilege to work on the South Dakota Retirement System program for many years as a legislator and as the Lieutenant Governor. I will say the most impressive part of the retirement system is the thinking that went into the 1974 reformulation and reorganization to have the segregation of duties between the legislature, SDRS, and the South Dakota Investment Council. No other state does it this way, maybe one or two, but none better. The other thing I want to say is that the retirement system and my passion for it came as a result of my mother being a lifelong teacher, my dad leaving us with not much money, and I was still in high school, and she worked very hard for that, and everyone at SDRS has worked hard for her and for many others who would be destitute without that support. She currently still receives, at age 92, her retirement, which supports her in long-term care. My last story is a friend of mine who was the Human Services Center head of facility management. And one day we were out for lunch and he pointed out at a table there were 6 individuals, all he knew, 3 of whom had worked for him and wives in other places at HSC. And he said, Matt, they're having a good life and they're not poor because of South Dakota retirement system. They worked hard caring for others and they deserve the retirement and the life that they have. Thank you all for what you've done to make our public servants have a great retirement.
Hey there, Congressman Dusty Johnson. So like the South Dakota retirement system, I'm a product of the 1970s. You all are worth $14.5 billion, and I am not. It makes me wonder what kind of decisions I've been making in my life the last 47 years. Congratulations on your 50th anniversary, South Dakota retirement system. I'm a member of the system. I'm glad that the money is so well managed. I'm proud that South Dakota is, at least the last time I checked, one of only 4 states that have a fully funded program. And I would tell you, as a former chief of staff to Governor Dugard, I was at times pretty involved with the system and making sure that it was running properly. I know it was a source of great pride for the governor, and it's a source of great pride for me. So thanks for the last 50 years. I'm looking forward to having the next 50 years be just as successful.
Hey everybody, just wanted to say hi and congratulate everybody on this wonderful occasion. 50 years for SDRS. That is pretty doggone impressive, and just a testament to what the founders thought we were going to be able to do and what we should be able to do. It's a credit to everybody that's there working on the board, working as part of the staff team, working in this crazy thing that we call SDRS. As you can see, the sun is shining out here in God's country, western South Dakota. And just a reminder to all my friends out here about how beautiful the Black Hills are and how beautiful this side of the state is. So just had to throw that in there. Really, the real story that's going on here, and is a story. It's a story that was written, 50 years ago when some smart minds came together and figured out they needed something for our public employees and those that found a calling to serve the communities that they live in. And it's a wonderful thing that we have. We've seen some great times, we've seen some not so great times, but it's in good hands. It's in the wonderful hands right now. Travis and his team is doing a phenomenal job. Rob, you know, when I joined the board, you were the executive director at the time, and under your stewardship, we did a lot of great things as well too. I want to shout out to all the board members that have come and gone. Some of them are still there. Louise, KJ, Dawn, you know, you guys have been awesome, and I know I'm leaving names out, and you know, there's some giants that we shouldn't forget, like Justice Zinter, and you know, the one that sticks out in my mind, and the one thing I wanted to bring up is the fact that we need to remember what SDRS is all about. Lieutenant Governor Matt Michaels said it best when he talked about SDRS being a social contract for the state. He would parade that benefit statement of his mother's around and talk about how she was able to afford to stay in her house and continue a comfortable life because of SDRS, and we can't forget that. We can't forget that SDRS is all about making the lives of public employees in the state of South Dakota better. Are we perfect? By no means are we perfect. And nobody's getting rich off of SDRS, but we have that agreement. We have that social contract that says we're going to be there and we're going to maintain our position in providing that benefit to these public employees out here. What a great run. 50 years is awesome. I'd love to be there if I hadn't been scheduled to go on a halibut trip in Alaska. I probably would be there in Pierre with you guys right now. But as it stands, on June 5th, I'll be up in the 49th state chasing some big fish. But you guys are awesome. Great job. Congratulations, SDRS. You guys are fantastic. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Senator John Thune. Congratulations on the 50th anniversary of the South Dakota Retirement System. I appreciate all the work South Dakota Retirement System employees do on behalf of individuals and families across South Dakota. The work you all do each day is critical to ensuring that retirement benefits for public sector employees in our state continue to remain in good fiscal health. I know you will continue working to responsibly manage these well into the future for all the members who rely on them. Again, congratulations on this achievement. Keep up the great work. Here's to another 50 years.
Hello, I am State Investment Officer Matt Clark. On behalf of the Investment Council and staff, I want to congratulate SDRS for 50 years of exemplary performance. What a wonderful opportunity for us to remember the hard work 5 decades ago by state leaders, trustees, and staff to create the strong foundation that has served us so well. Many are no longer with us, but their legacy lives on. I would like to specially recognize the first SDRS Executive Director, Al Asher, and first State Investment Officer, Steve Myers. Their efforts and passion drove our success for the first 30 years or more. SDRS continues to strive for excellence and has become recognized as a model public pension plan. I would like to also specially recognize Rob Wiley, our second SDRS Executive Director, whose efforts to introduce hybrid elements into our plan design helped assure sustainability, and former Lieutenant Governor and Trustee Matt Michaels, without whose help this could not have been accomplished. In my view, the success of SDRS has been due to teamwork between the Governor, Legislature, SDRS trustees, Investment Council members, and all of their predecessors and staffs. We have been blessed to have had and continue to have many wonderful people working for SDRS and the Investment Council. Their hard work and passion helped us achieve more than any of us thought possible. I know that Executive Director Travis Almond and I will encourage everyone involved to continue the exceptional teamwork to give us the best chance to succeed in the years and decades ahead. It is a great privilege to serve the more than 100,000 members of SDRS. Members spend their working careers serving the people of South Dakota, and it is an honor to help them prepare for and enjoy their retirement years. Thank you.
It's been an honor to serve on the SDRS board for the last 20 years. I'm humbled when I think that over 1 out of every 10 South Dakotans is a member of our system, and that we pay out over $700 million of benefits every year. We have a great system that so many count on, but we can only make it great because we stand upon the shoulders of the giants who went before us. One thing that stands out of my mind is the quality of people associated with SDRS, from the staff members to the board and the legislators that we deal with. Some of the people I've met over the years that really stand out in my mind are people like Steve Myers, Matt Michaels, Justice Zinter, Jim Hansen, Paul Schrader, Rob Wiley, and several of the governors and many of the legislators that we've worked with over the years. In my time on the board, we've been through many highs and many lows. I remember times when we were 130% funded or more, and we were looking for ways to improve benefits. I also remember a financial crisis when we were thinking we were going to have to cut benefits. One meeting that stands out of my mind was back in 2008, during the depths of the financial crisis. We had a conference call and we were discussing our next steps of whether we'd have to cut benefits. And Matt Clark was on the call, and he was actually optimistic. He saw it as an opportunity to buy stocks cheap and that things were going to improve. At that moment, I was really worried because Matt Clark's never optimistic, but things worked out. I consider my time on the board as an opportunity of a lifetime. It's been a challenge and it's been a learning experience. I've been able to build relationships and meet people that have changed me forever. But it's wonderful to be part of an organization that impacts so many lives and has such an influence in everybody in our state.
Hello everyone, I'm Travis Almond. I am the current Executive Director of the South Dakota Retirement System. You know, I've had the distinct honor in working for the South Dakota Retirement System for almost 25 years now. It's been an absolutely amazing ride. Over these years, it's just been an absolute pleasure serving all the public employees while navigating the complexities of retirement planning and really just ensuring their future peace of mind as they approach that retirement journey. I'm just extremely thankful for the opportunity to work for such a wonderful organization that makes such a significant difference in the lives of all of the public employees across this great state. When I think of SDRS, I would summarize it really in two ways. I think the first would be vision. I think you have to begin by recognizing and really paying tribute to the visionaries, the forefathers that laid the foundation of this plan a half a century ago. It was really through their foresight and commitment and unwavering belief in providing for the future that has brought us to this momentous occasion. Their vision was not merely to establish a consolidated plan, but really to create a legacy of, financial security and stability for all of those that contribute to the retirement system. I think the second thing that comes to mind for me is the ability and the willingness to adapt and change. We know that change is constant, and the true strength of any institution lies in its ability to adapt and change with the times. You know, we look at the last 5 decades, our pension plan has not remained stagnant. Instead, we've evolved, we've embraced innovations, and really adjusted to the ever-changing landscape of finance and retirement planning. We've navigated through economic challenges, legislative reforms, and really all the societal shifts that we've seen as well, always staying true to the mission established by the visionaries that created this plan. So as we commemorate the golden anniversary, I would like to reaffirm our dedication to transparency and accountability that's really guided us thus far. We will continue to foster a culture of innovation and adaptability, ensuring that SDRS will remain resilient and relevant for the next 50 years and beyond. So again, I would just really like to express my sincere gratitude to all of those that have contributed to the success of SDRS, both past and present. I think together, through our shared commitment, we can embark on this wonderful journey ahead. And in closing, I'd just like to say happy 50th anniversary, SDRS. Thank you.